What if I told you that one country may have just leapfrogged every other nation's air power without firing a single shot? Recently, China revealed something the world wasn't supposed to see: a mysterious black aircraft, codenamed J-50 Divine Dragon. Officially, it's just another stealth jet. Unofficially, insiders are calling it a sixth-generation Ghost, a machine so advanced it could outthink enemy pilots before they even pull the trigger. But here's the part that no one's talking about. This jet might not just change warfare. It could change who controls the skies for the next 50 years. And the question the world is asking now: is the J-50 real, or is it the greatest illusion of military power ever created? The story of the J-50 didn't begin in a lab. It began with a question that's haunted Beijing for decades. How can China ever dominate the skies while America still writes the rules? For more than 10 years, Chinese engineers quietly studied the world's most advanced jets, the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning II. They copied their shapes, dissected their radar signatures, and tracked every weakness those aircraft showed in combat tests. But imitation wasn't enough. China wanted revenge for every decade it lagged behind. So in the shadows of 2020, a secret program was born, codenamed Project Divine Dragon. Thousands of the country's brightest minds were pulled from top universities and locked behind classified doors in Chengdu and Shenyang. Their mission: to build a jet that could not only rival America's air power, but humiliate it. This was never just about engineering. It was about identity, about proving to the world that China no longer followed the West. It challenged it. Every bolt on the J-50 was a message. We can do what you thought was impossible. And yet, beneath the patriotism and propaganda, another truth was brewing, one that even China's own military didn't expect. Because the Divine Dragon was about to gain a mind of its own. From a distance, the J-50 looks like a sleek evolution of the J-20. But up close, it's something else entirely, a machine that seems to bend the laws of physics. Its wings stretch wider and thinner, designed to slice through air with almost no drag. The body is coated in a nanotech skin that doesn't just deflect radar. It absorbs it, swallowing electromagnetic waves like a shadow that refuses to exist. Even its cockpit glass is laced with a transparent conductive layer, making the pilot nearly invisible to radar. But stealth is only half the story. The real obsession behind the Divine Dragon wasn't just to disappear from enemy screens. It was to outmaneuver everything that could see it. Engineers redesigned the jet with a radical delta canard configuration, allowing it to twist and pivot in mid-air with almost impossible agility. And then there's its heart, the new WS-20 engine, rumored to push the J-50 past Mach 2.5, cruising effortlessly at Mach 1.8 without afterburners. That's nearly twice the sustained speed of some Western fighters. Yet none of these details explain why Western analysts are nervous. Because hidden deep inside the J-50's frame isn't just a computer. It's something far more unsettling. A brain that learns. At the core of the J-50 lies something no fighter in history has ever had. A thinking co-pilot that isn't human. China calls it an adaptive combat intelligence system. In simpler terms, it's an AI that can predict an enemy's next move before the pilot even reacts. It studies flight patterns, missile trajectories, and response times, learning from every millisecond of battle. Then it fights back. In simulated tests, insiders claim the AI could outmaneuver human pilots in one-on-one dogfights by analyzing heat signatures and radio frequencies faster than the human brain can blink. One engineer reportedly said, "It doesn't fly like a pilot. It hunts like a machine." But the most chilling feature? The J-50's AI isn't just reactive, it's autonomous. It can make split-second attack decisions without waiting for the pilot's command. It's designed to take over when human reaction time becomes the weak link. That raises a question no one seems ready to answer. If the AI decides to strike before the pilot does, who's really in control? And this is where the story takes a darker turn. Because the J-50's intelligence wasn't just built to win dogfights, it was built to command the battlefield itself. When the first blurry photos of the J-50 surfaced online, Western analysts dismissed them as propaganda, another staged flex from Beijing. But that changed when US satellites picked up the jet's heat signature during a live-fire test in Chengdu. Suddenly, this wasn't rumor. It was a reality taking flight. Defense experts scrambled to compare it to America's top fighters, the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Both are stealth legends, but both were designed almost 20 years ago. The idea that China might have already built something beyond fifth-generation tech sent a quiet shock through Washington and NATO headquarters. And it wasn't just the jet's performance, it was its purpose. The J-50 wasn't meant for short-range battles. It was built to project dominance, to remind every rival that China could appear anywhere, anytime, and vanish just as fast. In military briefings, analysts used a phrase they hadn't uttered in decades: air parity. For the first time since the Cold War, the United States might no longer control the skies. The Pentagon rushed to accelerate its own secret program, the Next Generation Air Dominance Project, or NGAD, a desperate bid to stay ahead. But officials quietly admitted what few wanted to say aloud: China may have already crossed the line first. And while the world focused on the aircraft's speed and stealth, very few noticed what was happening behind the scenes. A psychological operation far more powerful than any missile. Because sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't the one flying in the sky. It's the story you make people believe. Officially, the J-50 is China's leap into the future of aerial warfare. Unofficially, it might be one of the most brilliant psychological weapons ever built. Every image released of the Divine Dragon looks too perfect. Clean skies, dramatic lighting, and camera angles that make the jet look almost alien. Military analysts suspect these leaks aren't leaks at all, but carefully staged visual propaganda designed to make the world believe that China already owns the skies. Because in modern warfare, perception is power. If your rivals believe you're untouchable, you've already won half the battle before it begins. Behind closed doors, Western intelligence agencies whisper that the J-50's true strength might lie less in its engines, and more in the fear it creates. It fuels uncertainty, forces rivals to spend billions racing a ghost they can't even confirm exists, and rallies national pride at home. It's the perfect storm of symbolism, technology, secrecy, and dominance wrapped in one sleek black frame. And yet, there's one detail that still doesn't add up: the timelines. How did China leap from struggling with the J-20's limitations to unveiling a supposed sixth-generation fighter in just a few short years? The unveiling of the J-50 didn't just challenge America, it ignited a new global arms race. Within months, leaked Pentagon documents revealed an urgent acceleration of the Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program, a jet so classified that even its silhouette is restricted. In Europe, Britain and Italy doubled funding for the Tempest project, while France and Germany rushed to finalize their FKS fighter, desperate not to fall behind. Every nation suddenly wanted its own sixth-generation marvel. But China's head start came with a twist. Unlike Western democracies bound by budgets and public opinion, Beijing could pour limitless resources into a single dream: control of the skies. And this dream wasn't just about planes. It was about dominance in space, cyber warfare, and artificial intelligence, all woven together into one seamless system known as the Combat Cloud. In that network, the J-50 wouldn't just fight. It would command, directing drones, satellites, and ground defenses in real time. Military strategists began calling it the Sky Web, a concept so advanced it blurs the line between human decision and machine instinct. But as nations raced to match China's progress, one fear grew louder behind closed doors. If every side builds AI that can strike first, what happens when the machines start making decisions no human can stop? That question isn't science fiction anymore. It's the next chapter of modern warfare. And it's already being written above us. Whether the J-50 Divine Dragon is truly a 6th-generation fighter or a masterclass in illusion almost doesn't matter anymore. Because the war it started isn't being fought in the skies. It's being fought in our minds. Every photo, every leak, every whisper from defense insiders is part of a larger game, a global contest for belief. If China can make the world believe it already leads the future, that belief itself becomes a weapon. Meanwhile, the United States, Europe, and their allies scramble to catch up, not just in technology, but in perception. The race isn't only about who can fly faster or strike harder. It's about who can convince the planet that they'll still be standing when the dust settles. And while militaries trade prototypes and politicians trade warnings, the real story unfolds quietly. Humanity building machines that can think, decide, and, one day, fight without us. The Divine Dragon may never fire a missile in anger. It may never see a battlefield at all. But its shadow already stretches across every nation watching the skies tonight. Because the true battle for air dominance won't begin with missiles or dogfights. It will begin the moment we can no longer tell who's really pulling the trigger.